cloud. Okay. Shall we just begin, or shall we wait 2 or 3 minutes and just do a check-in? So we give people, let's do 3 minutes of check-in. Anyone wants to share anything? So I'll just go very quickly. I'll say that we have Bill coming to Italy. He actually arrives this weekend. So we start his events on Monday, and they'll be running Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And Tommaso and I are both involved in the planning of that. And it all begins with a dinner with Bill on Sunday evening, a kind of casual one. And Tommaso will be in Rome, and so we'll be meeting face to face for the first time in person. So that's the big update on the horizon. And I'll let everyone else check in who wants to.
And what is tell us a little more about what the program's all about in promoting Bill's book. Are you doing it at bookstores, or is it in a hall? And what kinds of people are you presenting it to?
Oh, so in Rome, there's going to be 3 venues in one day, so it's going to be quite a laden program. The first one will be at the John Cabot University, which is the American university in Rome. So it'll all be English speakers, that we won't need a translator, and it all revolves around the presentation of Bill's Italian version of the discipline entrepreneurship. So that's what the topic is going to be. And then he right after lunch, there's going to be, so in the university we expect to have about 120 attendees. Then in the afternoon, it's an event organized by Manager Italia, and it'll take place though in a university location. And there are 200 seats being made available through Eventbrite, and we are currently at about 140 people who've signed up for that. But we also expect to get full house there. And then Bill will be visiting as a last leg in Rome, the Lewis N Labs. It's a startup accelerator, and there's going to be he's going to be given a tour of the place, and then he'll be speaking for about half an hour to 100 participants who are all young startup people who are, so probably he's going to reach something like 400 people, for an overall audience of 400 in Rome, and then I'll let Tommaso describe the other events. We have another team member who's holding the events in Milano, which I know less about, but I plan to attend them. I think there are 2 or 3 presentations and networking events with actual MIT alumni, right, Tommaso?
Yes, sure. So, we'll be in Rome. After we'll be to Milano. And in Milano, we start in the morning with a sort of lecture in Politecnico Milano, which is one of the leading technical university in Italy. And this is going to happen in the morning. And while in the afternoon, we're going to be for sort of like informal conference in a co-working space, which is called Talent Garden, which is a sort of like Italian version of CSE, but they are also offering like classes and master class. This is how they get most of their money. And then, and for dinner, we are having the dinner with this association. The day after, we'll move from Milano to Bologna, which is another university, actually the oldest of Europe, the Western world. And there in Bologna in the morning, we are going to meet the dean of the university and some other professor responsible for the startup movement in that university. And in the afternoon, there will be a presentation in the Bologna Business School. And at the end, everybody's going to be happy and more disciplined, I think. So, I think that, of course, the aim is to promote the book. Actually, the book is an excuse to promote Italian entrepreneurship and to hopefully start to change the narrative there.
Sounds great. Good luck with everything.
Thanks.
Thank you. It'll be exciting, and we'll try and share as many updates as we can and recaps, and there'll be plenty of videos and things. Hi, Dan.
Hello.
Dan is also one of our new reps for the latest cohort. So
nice to meet you all.
Really nice
Hello.
to
Hey, Dan.
Hello there.
Hey, I just woke up. It's 8 a.m. here, so I'm still very,
Wide-eyed.
yeah.
So we were doing a quick check-in to see whether anyone else was joining, and then we have Lucy who needs to leave in about 13 minutes. So maybe Lucy, would you like to do your check-in and share like anything that you think anyone here could maybe help to help in supporting the reunion planning or whatever? I'm not quite sure like what sort of needs are arising from the latest meetings, which I wasn't able to attend.
Yeah, sure. So the reunion planning, as most of you know, we decided to move it to 2020. So first, we will still try to have something happening this year in 19, because it's the opportunity to have an event for the 5 years of the boot camp, the MIT boot camp. So the idea was maybe to try to organize events in most areas in the world where people are ready to organize something, and when you are close to each other, you can meet, and then maybe connect the different meetings together through an online meeting or something like that. We still need to define it, but the idea is to have something happening in the world between us, roughly on the same day, depending, of course, on the time difference. But that would be, I think, really nice. As an example, I've just organized an event here in the San Francisco Bay Area where I'm based, because I'm ambassador for a school, a French school here. And we decided to organize events in the world, but during 1 week. So there are events happening everywhere during 1 week, and we're already relaying between us from one town to another, and that works very well. So I think that would be great to do something like that. It has a lot of impact, and people really enjoy doing it. So otherwise for next year, so the idea for the moment is to try to organize the reunion in March next year. Still in the area of Boston, close to the MIT campus. And why? It's because it's what most people wanted from the survey that we have done recently. So we would organize that for the moment without the MIT Bootcamp organization, but with their support for getting letters of reference, for example, for getting sponsors. But otherwise, we're trying to find a location. And so the last update is probably that we would work with the CIC. We got strong help from Tommaso for this location to enjoy the different rooms they have, and with a discount thanks to his membership. So Tommaso will be able to tell you more about it, but that's the situation right now. So now we are still looking at some other venues, but that's probably the one we will go with. So then in parallel, we are launching research of sponsors in priority, and at the same time we will work on a budget, because we need to define quickly how much we need to find from sponsors to reduce the cost for everyone. So for that, we want to work on a sort of deck that we could present to sponsors anytime we have an opportunity to. So where people can help is already to give ideas if they have any of sponsors we can approach, contact, And in parallel, we will try to finalize the communication we want to have, all of us, with the sponsors, knowing that we need to talk with the same voice, the same message. So we need to be clear on that. So that's what we're working on, and we will talk about it next week. And then after that, of course, we're going to continue thinking of the content of the reunion. So it's probably a 2-3 day reunion, and we're still thinking of doing a community project that would be 1 day before after. So we are also looking for ideas around that. Yeah, so that's, I would say, the main priorities. And then we are going to, as planned initially, to organize subgroups, where you could have one group working on one topic, another group on another topic, etc. So I think that's for the most update, yeah. And feel free, Thomas and Richard, to add anything that I may have forgotten.
No, I mean, actually, I think this is more or less everything. And so, I mean, just 2 points. Yeah, speak about CIC. I mean, the reason why there is this content, because right now in Rotterdam, we have an office at CIC. And Rotterdam is the only place in Europe. All the others are the US. And since I'm a member, I can rent the spaces for 50% of the price. And Nancy, she asked me if I can sign some document for the insurance and those things. And I think there is absolutely no problem. And I'm planning to have a discussion with Nancy, just to go to each point to be sure that we are not something for we are not signing something. I mean, crazy, but I mean, I totally trust Nancy. So this is about CST. Second point, this is just a news / gossip. I was speaking with Andrew, our beloved Andrew, and actually Andrew now is not working with MIT anymore. So, which is actually, I'm planning to have a call with him just for fun to.
Oh, wow.
4th of April. Yeah.
St. Louis now.
Sorry?
Where is he?
He's in St. Louis.
Cool.
What is he doing?
Do
you know?
I don't know. Maybe Richard knows more.
But
No.
okay, he left. Okay. Oh.
No, I heard from someone else that he's out there now, and so I was going to reach out to him next week and talk to him, but I heard about this actually yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking with him just before connecting this chat, and yeah, he told me that right now he's focusing in other projects. We want to do more behavioral design things. He participated to a very cool bootcamp about behavioral strategies, how to hack behavior. And now I think he wants to use this knowledge to do something out of it. So since I'm a very curious guy, I want to know more about it.
Yeah, thanks for letting us know. I'm half surprised only, but I had the impression he was less involved than before, so I'm not surprised. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, but this is just like us.
Yeah, but that's good for him if he's.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You know, Tomas, I had a question about the insurance. Is your company going to sign for the insurance, or does an individual have to sign for it? How's that work?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't know too much, but I mean, in case it is similar to Rotterdam things, like we already made 2 events here in the Rotterdam spaces, and actually we have to simply sign a sort of template contract just to be sure that, I mean, in case somebody, I don't know, start a fire, and then you are sort of responsible for it. But I mean, it's something very standard according to what we sign here in Rotterdam. And the thing that should be the same there, because actually the event we made, they were like 200 people, so we are speaking about the same order of magnitude. So I think that we signed the same sort of documents, and they are very, very basic.
I was also wondering whether in the context of this, it might be an idea to explore whether or not we want to at some point actually create a proper association so that we have like an association status. And I know nothing about governance, so I'd love if someone else knew something about this and we could decide together whether it's a good idea to do that or whether it would just be bureaucratic hassle, not bring us anything, because we did kind of create this governance structure, which I'm not quite sure at the moment what what the use of it is. But I also know that when Nancy was discussing securing a venue at MIT, had we had an association in place, I think it would have made certain things easier in terms of liability and not having one person or one individual with their company actually putting their.
Yes, but so because I had discussed with the legal person over there, and so what they needed is either 2 individuals to sign or one organization. So as you're saying, maybe if we had the association, we would have signed under the association. However, if you sign under the association, it means that the association is responsible. So you probably need as well to establish commitments, like agreements between the association and the members. Otherwise, who is responsible? So it's that part that we need to look at, how that would work, even if we have an association, because at the end, who is really responsible? So we will probably need members to sign, an agreement as being a member of the association. So it's something to investigate. I have to do it for another association. So if I find anything relevant, I will let you know as well. But I think, we can be several ones looking at this area because I think that's going to follow us for some time. And it could be good to really know what we can do or not.
Thank you, Lucy. Yeah. Okay. So we can, whoever picks up information on this or knows things, maybe we could start like collecting information and then making a decision altogether, whether it's, and you all know, like I'm very not into that sort of thing. So we can see what emerges and who wants to.
There's also a benefit of more spaces within the campus to be available for events like that. Event space I don't know if anyone's familiar with it. It's a beautiful event space. There's also the Bartos Theater. I'm sure some of you have gone to that. So a lot of those are available to sanctioned alumni groups.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's an interesting point that would be for doing it. Yeah. Thanks, Richard. Lucy, I didn't want to chase you out, but did you need to go, or can you stay with us?
Yeah, I'm just I'm just doing a few things at the same time. I'm listening to you, but preparing to leave. Yes.
Okay, great.
I will let you know when I leave fully.
All right, all right. Wanted to be mindful of your presence and need to leave. So we have some other topics, but before we address those, I thought maybe we could give like Dan and Shantana a little bit of space to perceive and welcome the energy, and like where are you feeling enthusiasm and what are your ideas and what would you like to see happen?
All right, starts with me first. Hello. Hey, okay, so I'm Dan. Quick introduction. I'm from Bali, but I live in Brisbane, Australia now. I live back and forth between Bali and Brisbane. I do social media marketing, pretty much digital marketing, and yeah, I'm excited to. I just came up with a boot camp, and I'm excited to help you guys grow. I'm very excited. I'm just very sleep deprived. I'm not a morning person, so it's very, I'm not really, but yeah, great. I can't really help much with the reunion stuff because I've never been to the States. I've never been to Europe. I haven't traveled much. I don't even know if I can make it because I'm from a getting the visa will be so hard for me. But I'll try to help facilitate online stuff if we have some because I think we should because we have got such a great community of people from different fields. So I'll be excited to be helping that. Yeah.
Thank you, Dan. And in case some of you haven't yet read it, like Dan shared a really very, very moving article about his experience at boot camp, and I
Thank you.
loved reading that. So if you want to look that up, it's in the media shares, I think in the media shares section of and it really stood out for me as one of the most, it was the most personal sharings of the boot camp. So yeah, thank you, Dan, for that.
Thank you.
I look forward to harnessing your energies and expertise for the online part. I think that would be a really exciting, yeah. And Dan already has lots of ideas, so we can then create conversations around that specifically.
I'm taking the spot just to let you know I'm leaving now. So nice to meet you, Dan, and I don't know who else joined. The new person. So really nice to have you on board as well. Yeah, I will listen to the recording so I get an update of what you have discussed.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much, Lucy.
Have a nice meeting, everyone.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Lucy.
Bye, Lucy.
Bye.
Bye.
Now I'm just wondering, like, Shantanu, can you hear us? Are you able to speak or type? Because I can see your screen and I can see your name, but I can't. Really.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi.
Oh, finally, I think it's just I'm having troubles setting up Zoom on my phone because it's like 3:45 a.m. here.
Wow.
Oh my God. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Damn.
Oh, you
The
are.
first time I have Zoom on my phone, so it's just so. Anyway, I'll go now. So my name is Shantanu, and I'm from India. I'm from Dan's batch of the boot camp, and we had a lot of fun. And so I do artificial intelligence research basically, and I've been into this space for a while now. And I think super excited about how we can make the entire network more useful for a lot of us to be able to make use of each other's talents and presence in general, and especially stoked about the entire alumni meet that we could do. And I'm really looking forward to discussions around that space, and I hope I can contribute to that.
Thank you. Thank you. And Giovanni, did you want to say anything? You haven't spoken.
Well, I'm enjoying the meeting, and the initiatives are involving, and I hope to give my part on them.
Thank you. So I have a question regarding, so on the one hand, I love this idea of, there are two ideas now kind of floating around for the online things we could be doing. And one was a previous idea that Tommaso had about doing 24 steps in 24 hours. And I still really like that idea because it's kind of nuts and it's kind of wacky. And so I think maybe, we could do both things and they could occupy different spaces. The 24 hours one would be like a marathon, and it would be themed on the 24 steps. And then we could also have like the week-long various local meetups with a video connection. I think maybe, we have time and space to do both. And so my question now is, since we're going to be seeing Bill next week, like, do you have any particular ideas as to how you think we might want to pitch to him in order to get his involvement in the 24 hours one, and what shape that could take, because we have this window of opportunity that, you know, where we'll have like just direct contact with him, and he'll probably be in a very good mood as well. So just to like, if you have any genius inspiration, so could we like say, could we frame this that he could choose one of the slots, and then we tell the whole alumni community Bill is going to turn up at some point, and so people will be wanting to stay on longer to see whether they get the slot where he's in, or maybe he could make 2 appearances that work with his schedule and things of that sort. So just, yeah, if we have any ideas around that, I think it'd be nice to just catch this opportunity.
Tommaso or Rachel, could you give us a brief on that 24-step concept so that I can appreciate it better? Because I have an idea, but I don't want to be redundant.
Okay, sure. Well, actually, I mean, it was just an idea of mine who came like a sort of art while I was discussing with Rachel. We were just having brainstorming just to know each other better, because we just speak about very focused stuff. And then that time we were just speaking about random things, and then we thought, so, I mean, 24 steps, 24 hours. I mean, we can have a sort of like a video chat when people jump in, they go out, and for each hour, we dedicate each hour to one topic by following those 24 steps. And so everybody jump and say, okay, speak about customer validation. This is my experience, this is who I am. And then this could be one path, so following the build path. Otherwise, we simply put together 24 hours just because it makes sense with 24 steps. And so more or less, this is what I remember. But I think that since I passed this idea to Rachel, the idea started to take another shape. And also, we also got some input from Chris, if I remember well. But right now, I don't remember which kind of input Chris gave, but I remember that it was a nice part. But maybe Rachel remembers it better. No.
No, I forgot.
Okay, no problem. Then we can reinvent the wheel. Yeah, I mean, so far it is just a way to engage the community, the virtual community, and having these 24 hours. And since Bill, I think that could jump in these videos, I think it's going to be a great trigger to keep people engaged from a behavioral point of view. Yeah.
What was your idea, Richard?
Well, that sounds like fun. I think that's pretty cool. I wonder if we could do something like this where you have someone who is, leading, takes that time slot, and maybe 2 people might do it as a spin on this idea, so that one person might be sort of talking about what they are doing for that step and how it affects their product, and maybe someone might be asking them questions as if they're being interviewed as well. So that's the possibility. We could also maybe ask the community who might A, have a time slot themselves, or B, they don't see themselves being able to watch too many of the time slots. Maybe they can be around for some of them, but they could submit questions that they might want addressed for different time slots, different steps, and maybe the person who might be the second sort of interviewer asks the questions to the person who is going to demonstrate their knowledge and use of that particular step.
Yeah, actually, I mean, I think that, this is great. This is great because I mean, for example, I'm just like, imagine how could be, let's say, in my startup, let's say, speak about various steps. I mean, even if of course, the practice, it is always different than theory. But in case somebody forced me, let's say, to think about step number 15, that right now I don't remember which one is that. I mean, and he asked me the right question, it will definitely help me to think about my experience under this mental model, and it's going to be definitely helpful. I mean, I would love to do all the 24 steps actually, because I mean, it's like you have somebody who is interviewing you, who is forcing you to think using this terminology that everybody knows here, and actually, I really appreciate as a customer, as an entrepreneur. It's like, yeah, psychoanalysis for entrepreneurs. Yeah, I love it. Shall we start?
Yeah, I like the idea that you might get Bill to pop in somewhere, and he might do it randomly, which might also draw more attention to the whole program because you just never know where he's going to come. That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool, and actually, it's cool, and it also makes sense to what you just said, because Bill anyway is going to add, let's say, theoretical contribution, because Bill is the guy who wrote the book. So it makes even more sense if the 24 steps, they are very aligned within the book. And so Bill, for example, jumped during hour 15 again, and then he asked question about the 15th step. And so, because, who better than him? Yeah, it will be nice in case Bill's pops up. It's similar to this game when you have to, with a number, you have to put the mask. It's going to be just Bill who appears here and there. I love it.
I wonder if we can get Elaine Chen to participate and jump in somewhere.
Yeah, and why not also Rodney Brooks and the guys from Ministry of Supply and everyone? That'd be really fun to actually engage the speakers we know that were at boot camp. That'd be super fun. Like Young Soo Kim, the one from the Watch story. We could also try that and like have a super hodgepodge of superstars coming in. I'm just thinking in terms of how we plan that, how we structure that. That will require some kind of not just refining the design, but also giving everyone, like we would need to be more or less pitching to these people maybe, or even if we're just doing interview style, like you were saying, Richard, where we have two people holding the space for that slot, and there needs to be just some minimal structure maybe, but we can maybe brainstorm and come up with a mixed style.
Yeah.
I wondered if if it becomes a little too complex for doing it online, maybe we can keep it simple. On the one hand, the basic idea is very strong, but if we were to think of having all these other individuals potentially involved, could we do a version of this at the reunion? And it's not 24 hours because it's in the space of the reunion. Maybe it's something that we could do to address how people are using the 24 steps, and then maybe do a little snippet of each step with one person talking about what they're doing and then someone interviewing them. That might be something to think about.
Yeah, that's a really nice idea too. So we would have like the attendees being also panelists for us.
Oh.
Right. That'd be nice.
Rachel, I think, in the space of 24 hours, I think just for the sake of, disciplined entrepreneurship of sorts, I think the target audience in our alumni network would be people ideally who want to do all of them, or people who really want to do, some particular steps. And I think in that case, I'm just thinking out loud. I think like a 24 day for 24 steps would help us even get a lot of room for a lot of people to either present in each step, and even like the MOOCs are structured, So for example, in each couple of steps, we have a lot of guest companies that come in, and we had a lot of, you know, a lot of companies that came in and say, for example, if person X does PMR really well, and if person Y does, say, finding beachhead markets really well. So there are some different people who are good at different steps, and getting them all in the space of 24 hours, I'm just guessing might be a little too tough to, you know, cater to both the people who want to present and the people who want to learn. So if I want to learn, say, 2 steps, but they're almost, say, 23 hours or like 12 hours apart, it might be really hard for me to get the most out of the entire 24 steps. So I'm just thinking if 24 days makes more sense, so that it's even stretched a little more, and it gives room to both kinds of learners, both the ones who want to do specific steps and the ones who want to do all of them well.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point you're making, and suddenly it shifts the perspective completely. And I'm also thinking, I'm tying this over to that. I don't know how many of you saw the post that Maria Sommer put in the Facebook group, because she is teaching entrepreneurship at the Copenhagen School of Business, and she was actually looking for case studies and practical applications of the various steps to share with her students. So if we were to structure it this way, we could actually even build up almost like a video archive of cases that could then become like reference cases that people can use again. And that would be really interesting. So we could actually create content around that and document it both audio visually and in terms also of maybe turning those into articles. And that would probably be useful for very many people in the community, so that it happens, it's almost like a summit or like a prolonged conference, and then we are harvesting useful information that won't only benefit those who can actually attend, but also those who can't attend that day or whatever, and we could create recordings and create a library of those. That would be really, really interesting, and I think that would create a lot of value. So I really like that idea too. It's very different from the 24 hours one. Maybe we can do all of these in different moments, but I really like your suggestion. Everything is going to become 24. It's going to be our new, our new model of separating things. 24.
I think we could probably even check with some alumni of the group, you know, off the top of their head, what they really want from the 24-step exercise. Do they want like one immersive session, or do they want multiple sessions, not so immersive, but, you know, just touching on the steps like one more time for them? So that'll be helpful to understand what they really want. Do they want one deep dive again or multiple ones?
Mm-hmm.
Another possibility is if we have some holes in the setup of all the 24 steps, it's conceivable that some of these steps won't be attended to by a volunteer. Maybe we could open it up to people who might want to record their delivery of this step.
Right.
That's clever. That's super clever. And also it might be good to have recordings ready anyway, because you never know whether, you know, the person who said, I'm going to hold the slot tomorrow or that date, and then they suddenly have something turn up. So it'd be good to have a few recordings ready. That's a really nice idea too. Because I was also wondering, like, even if we do a 24-hour thing, and how do we make sure we have everything covered? So this would be a really good solution. And there's always, you know, the time zone issue, which I'm very aware of. That can always play a trick. Like someone might say, oh, that slot really interests me, but it's 3:45 a.m. All right, Shantanu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do really like that idea. Yeah, the 24 days over 24 hours. When are we thinking of doing that? Because it's not going to be that hard to organize, I assume.
So your question was like when?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Well, we just need to decide a date and start working towards it, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? It's really up to us. We're completely free to do it, to start asking or to just start planning. I don't know. Sometimes, from my experience, if we talk too much about something, then we end up not doing it. So it's really good if someone just says, okay, I'm going to set a date. Let's start working towards that, and then just see what happens. And we can always, course correct while we work. So we have special ideas as to when you think that might. So, Dan, like, were you thinking of the 24 days or the 24 hours one?
Days. Oh, that's a long month. That's a full month, though, then.
It is. It is.
I just realized that. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That's a month.
It's a full month, even having to count in some Saturdays, I think, right? So it would be including Saturdays and leaving Sundays free, or including whatever. And I would only say that maybe August is not a good month to be doing it. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Sorry, sure, but I think that honestly, we can do both. The reason why I think that 24 hours could be just the first one to start, because I also believe in that the more you commit yourself within the same time frame, and the better could be the result. No, of course, results don't go linear, so they go in a exponential curve. So I feel that it becomes literally a sort of marathon. You know that those people who are spending 24 hours to read the Bible, no? And at the end, you really share a passion together. And I think that really the fact that you put together those steps in one similar things, you also, you share effort with everybody. And I feel that on a motivational level, it is more, could be more appealing. It's appealing because you also give a sense of purpose to everybody. Maybe 24 days, maybe someday I'm busy, someday I don't want to connect, I don't want to speak, So, and you ended up having this 1-0 state, which is not very motivating. At least for me, I will be, honestly, I also run marathons, so I'm very the guy who don't quit. So, who doesn't quit. So, for me, the fact that we have to stick for 24 hours or as much as possible to engage the discussion really motivates me towards something. And entrepreneurs are like us, so we don't quit. That's why we started this job. So I think that on a motivational level, I will be more intrigued by these 24 hours, just because I am a bit weird.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because the way I see it now, you're absolutely right about the entire entrepreneurial space of things, and I want one day that'll help me get as much as I can. And I think even from a planning perspective, 24 days is like an organizational nightmare, I believe. It's a planning nightmare. So I think it's going to be too tight to plan in the first go for us. I think 24 hours might be a lot more crunched and easy to put together.
Yeah, sure. And I think also by also following you mentioned something right. You mentioned that actually we don't have to reinvent the wheel, neither here. We just have to copy the MOOC. And we simply put the MOOC in 24 hours, 1 hour each. So let's say in the MOOC they invite entrepreneurs during their recordings. And I'm pretty sure that among our community there are 24 people who have some startups, some even company, because startups grow fast, and who are willing to have a session with people who ask questions about a particular step. And so I feel that maybe and actually those 24 people, they're going to be a sort of, let's say, also our influencer, no? So we have to be very selective to choose the 24 more popular. So we're also become less some influencer to people who want to join. Oh, there is this guy, I always see him on Facebook. Oh, yeah, I think he has a good company. I'm curious too. Because somehow it also combines this alumni interview that Rachel has started. Because there is always this sense of curiosity, this deep sense of networking and desire to connect that we have. As a matter of fact, the interview, the reunion, and actually also this chat, they start from the sense of connection that we want to have among us. We don't want to feel alone in this world. And so I think that this is something we can work on it.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Rick.
Sorry, you go. Richard, you go.
Oh, your audio's on mute.
You're muted.
I'm muted. No, I was going to suggest that you go ahead, but now that I'm on speaker, all right. A thought I had was in exploring when to do this and who's interested in occupying a slot. We could see, what the interest is and how many people might be engaged. Certainly with as big as the cohort, all the members are presently. What do we have? Above 354, maybe? What do we have?
We have now 460 something people in networks, but I was thinking that a poll about this, I would still suggest we also post it in the Facebook group where there are 800 and something, just to make that everyone can have the opportunity to know about it, right? Because I just feel like it wouldn't. I keep thinking that some people might want to come into the network at some point. You never know. So I would post it in both places and just see what comes out of it, and then we merge the results.
Okay. Well, my suggestion was going to be that if you do open it up to that larger group, because even the Mighty Networks group is quite sizable, it's possible that, and we would be thrilled to have multiple people wanting to occupy a slot. And so maybe there's the possibility that maybe there are multiple presentations, 2 or 3, depending on the draw within a particular step, so that maybe there are, you divide it into half hours or maybe it's a quarter hour, so that someone is maybe doing a 15-minute pitch for those steps that are more popular than others.
Either that, or we could cap it at 3 people maximum per hour, and then if someone was keen to do, say, step 15 and cannot, we say, would you consider doing step 16 where we still have space, right? And that might also introduce that stretch that we were talking about earlier, where you just push a little bit more and you actually go and explore a part of your project that might benefit from looking at not exactly the step you were thinking of. So yeah, maybe that's.
Yeah, okay, but I feel from a startup entrepreneur perspective, I think it would be nicer that there is this marathon, and I have the chance to submit my startup, and I even don't want to know in which step I'm going to end it up.
Like you and you say, okay, you have slot 7. Go do something.
No, because actually, it's going to be much better for me, because otherwise I'm going to keep speaking about the things I know. Instead, this kind of question, they need to help me to understand what I don't know. So actually, I don't know. We have to find an algorithm to put. If you choose step 1, you are going to redirect to the opposite one.
Maybe we could open up both possibilities so that the more daring people like you, Tommaso, can get the thrill of being super challenged, and someone who wants to stay a little bit more in their comfort zone, but still bring expertise and experience. I think
Sure.
kind of do half and half or something.
No, I mean, actually, I mean, it could be good because we also put these elements of surprises. Of course, I mean, please do not put me 4 o'clock in the night because I will not wake up. So I'm not like you guys who are awake right now. So unfortunately, I miss this skill. But I mean, I would be happy to actually. I mean, this is my job. I mean, I have to provide answer every time, even if I don't know, to investor, to user, to people I interview. So actually, I mean, this is a skill you need to have. And but yeah, maybe this is becoming too personal. Sorry.
It's good that you push our thinking like beyond boundaries. I like it. Okay, so maybe we can start with just throwing out some ideas. I'm thinking like, what's our next step on this? Maybe just put out a question and start conversations on, like, would anyone like to actually take up that part and just open up, one of us does it and then the others kind of chime in and we see if we can build up interest and momentum while at the same time gathering data and starting to feel out who wants to do what. Because I always think it's nice to keep it in co-creative mode and not just come up with saying, this is what we're going to do, and see who else wants to join the discussion so that we can actually create it together. So is anyone here like up for starting to post about this?
How should we post about this? Should we like do maybe surveys or I don't know?
Yeah, that was my question too.
I mean, for sure it's going to be 24th of some months, because I mean, we have to play with 24. 24th of April, I know, yeah, something like, or May. What else? Or I don't know. Maybe we can also play with the Kabbalah. Maybe we found out that on 24th of April the first MOOC was the sign. I don't know. We can do some research to see. Okay, this is the 5th year the bootcamp start. I mean, and to put these elements of, no.
Okay, so Tommaso, you do the Kabbalah research and find the best 24th of one of them.
No problem.
Once we have that, then maybe we can start with doing like a poll, like or at the same time, because we don't need to set the date yet, but we can maybe just start the conversation by asking, and I guess that sort of also depends on the feeling of whoever wants to take up this task of posting. It could be a poll like, if we were to do 24 steps in the 24 hours, who would be up for occupying one of the 3 slots of each hour? And it could just be like, it's better to start with just a simple question that people can click on, I think. And then it'll probably start comments underneath the poll, because I think so. The poll can be created also in both spaces, both Facebook and Mighty Network. So we might want to just play with it. You don't have to answer today, but if someone wants to do it, just go ahead. I think I'm all for
it.
Yay! You will?
Yep.
Super. So I'm writing down Dan will post and Tommaso will research the magic number. And then we'll have a recipe for starting. Because I think things will just kind of start to roll by themselves. That's my feeling.
I think there could be a poll on more than just would you be interested or not. I think there could be a poll on which step interests you the most, so we know which ones to put more effort into and which one will just flow in by themselves.
Okay.
That's a great point.
So then the poll would happen from 5 until 24, right?
Right.
Okay. Thank you. I think that's a good point.
I'm just thinking, I mean, would that poll become too sparse, ideally? Because it's like, 24 things to select from, and I don't know that. I don't know if our data just gets too scattered and we have nothing at the end of it.
Maybe, so then maybe instead of doing 24, we just group them into the 6 overall sections that are like the color codes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We do that. So then people only have 6 to choose from. You're right, 24 is too fragmented. And then everyone has to go and pull out their workbook, and unless we just so we could make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the overall title I don't even remember. So like yeah, who's the customer? How can you serve your customer? Research, product development, or like the 6 sections that would maybe be more helpful, so we know which areas we have more interest in or more participants. Okay.
How do we choose the people, though, when if we've got too much people applying, and if we only have to choose 3 people out of 30 people? Like, how are we going to do that?
Well, we can always say that we'll do a next round if this is really popular.
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
And we can, I guess we could maybe do on a first come, first serve basis, like who signs up first.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could decide on different criteria for selection, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. I think
Maybe
we
in
can.
that instance, you can have that interview style work for us. If there are, many participants, then you can put 2 people together in one, third of an hour, for example.
That's a cool idea, yeah.
Mm.
Do you feel like we need to discuss this more like on a new call, or do we have enough to just kind of start putting things out and then maybe have another?
Let's start.
Let's
Or
start.
we could create a circle.
Start.
Oh yeah, we could create a circle to bounce ideas on that.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm. It's a great idea.
Okay, so
And if it helps Dan, as he's putting together the survey, we can also input, our thoughts on it within the circle.
I'll put on a Google form so we can all edit. I think we'll do that.
So would you prefer a circle, or did you say a Google Doc?
A circle would be great as well, but yeah.
Okay, so
And then I have a Google Doc so we can all edit like there.
Okay. Okay, super. Great stuff.
But we're trying to make this poll short, right? Because we don't want people to see a lot of info and then just close it.
Yeah.
Short and concise and simple and boom.
And we can decide like what we want to share out to the wider community and what we want to just sort of keep amongst us, so that we could just like prototype quickly. Because if we get too many voices in the design, then it's never going to take off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, hours up. I just wanted to make sure everybody saw. No, I didn't actually post it everywhere. So the thing is, inside a network, we've been having like different circles, and there are overlaps, and not everything overlaps totally. And with Richard, we had this brief email chat. So what happens is that in order to keep the Mighty Networks space going with the functionalities that we need, last year we launched it by subscribing to the, what was it called? The branding plan, which is one step up from the free plan, but that's the one that allows us to create circles. And there were 6 of us just kind of holding the subscription by subdividing the amount, which is $144 plus tax for the whole year. So each of us was paying something like $25. And we thought it might be nice to open it up also to the reps circle, just in case someone wants to kind of show their support in that manner. So what I might do is I'll repost. I think, Richard, the quickest way to do this, in order to not keep everyone, beyond the due time, is I'll just replicate the article inside the reps circle so that they have all the information. And we're basically collecting like people who want to express, who want to participate in that way, just have to say, I want to, before the 10th of April. So then we can do a roundup and see how many people are there. And like, if there are very many, it might just be $1 each, and it becomes really symbolic. But I think it's nice to just open up this possibility, because there were 6 of us doing it last year, and maybe more want to join, and it might create more of a sense of ownership and of, care through doing this. That it might just be, well, I don't even know whether it's for some people it might even be represent a big amount, and some people might want to contribute less. I mean, whatever. So Richard is very kindly holding the financial side of this, and so we just need responses before 10th of April, so we can then work on this. Just to let you know, so I will post that. I'm making a note, post about subscription, and I'll just post it into the. So currently it's in the core team circle. I'll put it into the rep circle so people know about it. And yeah, so
how about posting, Rachel? Suggestion.
Yeah.
What about in addition, maybe showing 4 breakdowns of, well, number 1, in the past it cost X because we had these many members, but now if we have participation from all of the cohort reps, that is X per person, and maybe some other breakdown. For example, if more people contributed, or to break that number down into either a 3rd or 4th breakdown, we show how many people that would require, so they can easily see what it's going to cost if more people get involved.
That's interesting. So in that case, do you think it'd be an idea to open it up to the whole community? Or do we still want to just keep it in the circles of people who are doing, like, actively contributing to the community through their...
Well, maybe at this stage, maybe it's just the founding members, the core, rather the cohort reps, and maybe the people involved in the reunion planning.
Okay.
Well.
Okay.
So that might be enough as a group.
Do you want to create like that breakdown of numbers to share?
You and I can work that out. Sure. We'll trade emails on that.
Brilliant. Thank you. And just before we say goodbye, I wanted to quickly tell you, so I've got 2 alumni profile interviews that I'm just finishing off. I'm waiting for some pictures and closing up the video editing. And this is also something I'd like to put out to you, like if there's anyone else who wants to be doing part of that as well and collaborating either in, conducting the interviews or writing up or reaching out to more people, just let me know, because I'd love to have more people holding this.
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah, Rachel, I would love to help. I used to do journalism school, so.
Oh, wonderful.
So it's the perfect thing for me. So shoot me the details and see how we can help.
Thank you. Great. And one thing we thought it would be really nice also to have people doing it in pairs, so they actually start to connect one-on-one with people from other cohorts they don't know, but I haven't really around that and how that could happen. But if we're able to evolve and just give people like a template, this is what you need to do, have a Zoom room, connect with one alumnus or alumna, ask these 10 questions, record it, send us the recording, then maybe we could actually start, just scaling up this thing, because there's so many of us, and it'd be really nice to have a profile of each person, I think, moving forward. Yeah. Shantanu, were you trying to say something?
No, I was just agreeing to you, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could maybe send us the details on how the process usually works for you, and we can follow that along. That'd be great. I would love to start doing that.
Yep.
So I'll share that. Okay.
And we have a big alumni meetup next week in Brisbane, so I'm really excited.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 20-30 people, so I'm so excited. Across cohort. Woo!
Wonderful.
I'll talk to them about that from the past cohorts and everything.
Super. Great. Okay, anyone want to say share some last thoughts, observations, ideas, criticisms?
Take the picture.
Oh, yes. Okay, we do the screenshot.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, comb your hair. Strike a pose. So wait, we get this. Did you want to do it, Tommaso, or shall I do it?
Do it.
Oh, yay! We can see
Yay.
Okay, so I'm going to do 3, 2, 1, cheese. Okay, let me just check that. I'm just going to go into my Photoshop and make sure that we have it. I usually-
Oh, that's too much light. Sorry.
Let's do one more. Oh, it's too much light for who? For you?
No, it's okay. I mean, my eyes are just.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll
Oh,
do one.
No, not at all.
wear sunglasses, Shantanu. Sunglasses.
Okay. Okay, great. I've got 2 shots and we are on it. Thank you very much for being here. I'm really happy to have seen you. And it's really late. It's midnight Cinderella time for me.
Oh, wow.
Good luck with the book tour.
But I can't say anything because Shantanu is in the middle of the night. So really,
I know.
Yeah.
thank you for connecting. And maybe next time we should also try and move the time slot around. It's just that it's always been very good to have this recurring time because most people know it's going to be on Thursday at this hour. Tuesday, we usually do Tuesdays or Thursdays, but just to democratic, I think we need to kind of move it around a little bit just to give other people a chance. So that Dan can connect when he's less sleepy and Shantanu needs to get up in the middle of the night.
Awesome.